Title 20, 9/11 Commission International Implementations, 22 United States Code 2151 Note, Section 201, short title. The title may be cited as 9/11 Commission International Implementation Acts of 2007, 22 United States Code 2151 Note, Section 202. Definition in term except or otherwise provided in term of appropriational congressional committees means the Committee of Foreign Affairs, the Committee of Appropriations of the House of Representatives, Committee of the Foreign Relationships, Committee of the Appropriations of the Senate. 2 includes the purposes of Subtitle D, the committees of the Armed Services, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. Subtitle A, the quality education opportunities of predominantly Muslim countries, Section 2011 finding policies. Congress makes the following findings. The report of National Commission of Terrorism acts upon the United States stated in educational that teaches the tolerance, dignity, value each individual, respect different beliefs is a key element in the global strategy to eliminate Islamic terrorism. The report of the National Commission on Terrorism acted upon the United States concluded with the assurance of the educational opportunity essential to the efforts of the United States to defeat the global terrorism recommended to the United States government should be offered to the initial generous supporting spending funds directly for the funding operating prepare secondary schools and those Muslim states can commit to sensible investigating own money public education within Congress endorsing the program Intellectual Reform Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004 Public Law 108-458. Such program has not been established. B, policy in the policy in the United States. 1, work toward the goal of dramatically increasing availability of modern basic education through public school predominantly Muslim countries which will reduce the influence of radical madrasas and other institutions to promote religious extremism. 2, join a country in general supporting International Muslim Youth Opportunity Fund authorized under the Section 7114 the Intelligent Reform Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004 as amended in 2012 is the active goals of building supporting public primary secondary schools predominantly Muslim countries and committing sensible investing resources sourced countries in modern public education. 3, they to offer educational initiatives to increase the availability of modern basic educational predominantly Muslim countries, and 4, to prevent financial education institute the support of radical Islamic fundamentals. Section 212 International Muslim Youth Opportunity Fund, Section 7114 Intelligence Reform Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004, 22 United States Code 22228 or 2228 is amended as reads as follows. Section 7114 International Muslim Opportunity Fund. A, purpose. The purpose of the section is strengthen the public educational system in predominantly Muslim countries. 1, authorization to establish international Muslim educational funding with the United States dedicated resources either through separate funding or through an international organization to assist the countries that commit to the educational reform to provide resource for the funding of the president as in strengthening the public education system in those countries, establishing the youth and 1 authority responding to authorized to establish an international Muslim opportunity fund to carry out the program consistent with the paragraph 4 to the existing authorities of the Mutual Educational Control Exchange of 1961 commonly referred to as Fulbright-Hays Act. 2, the location and funding established. A, the separate funding of the Treasury. B, the international organization, international financial institution, United Nations Educational Science Cultural Organization, United Nations Development Program, International Banking Reconstruction Development. 3, transfer receipts. The head of the department agency instrumental of the United States government may transfer the amount of fund. The fund may receive the funds of private enterprises, foreign countries, or other entities. Activities of the fund. The fund shall support the programs described in the paragraph to improve the educational environment of predominantly countries. A, consistent with enhanced modern educational programs, the established and predominantly Muslim countries program referred to create modern educational curriculum and public educational system in such countries and establish modernization educational materials to advance modern educational curriculum in such systems. 3, teaching English in teaching English to adults and children. 4, the enhancement of predominantly Muslim countries and committee and the family student participate in formulation and implementation of educational strategies and programs in such countries. B. Assistance for training, exchanging programs of teachers, administration, and students. And 1. The establishment of training programs, teachers, and educational administrators, and enhancing skilling in its including establishment of regional centers and training individuals who can transfer such skills upon returning to the country. 2. Establishing exchange programs of teacher administration, predominantly Muslim countries within countries, simulating additional ideas reforming throughout the world, including teacher training, exchanging programs focused in primary schools countries. 3. The establishment of exchange programs, primary, secondary students, predominantly Muslim countries without countries to foster understanding, tolerance, and stimulate long-standing relationships. C. Assistant target primary and secondary students. The establishment of predominantly Muslim and after-school programs, civil educational programs, and educational programs focused on life skills such as interpersonal skills, social relations skills of healthy living such as nutrition, physical fitness. 2. Establish predominantly Muslim country programs to improve proficiently primary and secondary students' information technology skills. D. The establishment, development of youth professionalism. Establishment of programs predominantly Muslim countries to improve vocational training and aids and strengthening participation in Muslim Arabs' economical development in countries. The establishment of program predominantly Muslim countries and target of Muslim youth and schools in such areas as entrepreneurial school, accounting, microfinancing activities, work and training, financial literacy, information technology. E. Other than type of assistance of the translation, foreign books and newspapers, reference goods, guides, other reading materials into local languages. 3. Construction equipment of the modern community university libraries. 5. Authorization appropriations in general, authorized to appropriate aided the President to carry out the section sums of necessary official years of 2008, 2009, 2010. Availability of the funds appropriated percent for their authorization under the Section A authorized to remain available for until expended. C. Additional funds amounts authorized to appropriated under subsection A shall additional amounts otherwise available for such purpose. C. The congressional report to Congress no later than 100 days after the enactment of this action annual. Thereafter until January 3rd, 2010, the President should submit an appropriate congressional committees of report on the United States to assist improvement in educational opportunities, predominantly Muslim children and youth, and including progress made toward establishing international Muslim youth opportunities. 7. Appropriate congressional committees defined in subsection. The term appropriate congressional committee means the Committee of Foreign Affairs and Committee of Appropriations, the House of Representatives, Committee of Foreign Relations, and Committee of Appropriation of the Senate. Section 213, an annual report to Congress in general no later than June 1st of each year to December 31st, 2009, and the Secretary of State shall submit to the appropriate congressional committees in the report of efforts of predominantly Muslim countries to increase availability of the modern basic education closed educational system and to promote religious extremists to close educational institutions that promote religious extremism and terrorism. B. Extent contents that each reporter includes. 1 is a list of predominantly Muslim countries that are making serious sustained efforts to improve availability of modern basic education and close educational institution promotes religious extremist terrorism. 2. A list of countries that make efforts in improving availability of modern basic education, close educational institution, promote religious extremist terrorism, such efforts not serious sustained. 3. A list of such countries making efforts to improve the availability of modern basic education, close educational institutes that promote religious extremism and terrorism. 4. Assessment for each country specified in paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 with the role of the United States with respect to efforts made to improve the availability of modern basic education, closed educational systems, closed educational institutes that promote religious extremism and terrorism. 22. United States Code 2452, C note, Section 214, extension of the program to provide grants of American-sponsored schools to predominantly Muslim countries to provide school scholarships. Findings, congressional following the Section 7113 Intelligent Reform Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004, Public Law 108, 458, 222, United States 2152, they authorize establishment of pilot programs to provide grants in American-sponsored schools, predominantly Muslim countries, so that the school can provide scholarships to young people of lower income, middle income families in such countries and attend such schools, which they could improve English, so it should expose to modern education. 2. Since the date of the enactment of the Section of Middle East Partnership Initiative has proposed implementation of the program. B. Extension program. 1. In general, Section 7113 Intelligent Reform Terrorism Prevention Act of 2014. 22. United States Code 2452 note that A in the section of the striking pilot B in subsection the heading the striking pilot, and A the striking pilot. C subsection striking pilot. In each place it appears subsection F striking pilot. E the subsection G the final sentence. 1 inserting the April 15, 2008 at April 15, 2006, and striking pilot in subsection H as an F. 1 in striking 2005 and 2006, inserting 2007 and 2008. 2 striking pilot, 2 conforming and amending section 1 and B, and act as amending the table context, striking the item relating to 711. 3 inserting acts after the section 711. 2 of the following new item. 7113 and program to provide grants for American-sponsored schools, predominantly Muslim countries, to provide scholarship. Subtitle B, Democracy Development in Broader Middle East Region. Section 2021, the Middle East Foundation. Purposes of the section is support throughout the provision, grants, technical assistance, training, and other program countries of the broader Middle East region for the expansion of the 22 United States Code 2151. Note that the expansion of the Middle East region is 1. Civil society, 2. Opportunities political participant of all citizens, 3. Protection of international recognized human rights, including rights of women, 4. Educational system reforms, 5. Independent media, 6. Policy promote economic opportunities for citizens, 7. The rule of the law, 8. Democratic process of government, D. B. The Middle East Foundation. 1. Designation. The Secretary shall authorize designate appropriate private, non-appropriate profit organization organized and incorporated but under the laws of the United States and state of the Middle East Foundation referred to in the section of the foundation. 2. The ending authority and Secretary of State authorizing funding for the foundation through the Middle East Partnership Initiative, Department of State, with notwithstanding any other provisions of the foundation should amount to provide paragraph to carry the purpose specified in subsection A, including through the partner making grants of such funds as endowment, providing assistance and it needs to carry out the program in such purposes. B. The funding of the sources determining the amount of the funding provided in the foundation. The Secretary shall consider the amount of the funding foundation to have received the sources other than the United States government. 3. Notification congressional committees. The Secretary shall notify the appropriate congressional committees designated for the appropriate organization as the foundation. C. The grants and projects foundations to make the grants. Secretary of State shall enter into an agreement with the foundation that requires the foundation to use the funds provided in subsection B2 to make the grants to the person, entities, the government, and the government entities located in the Middle East region working in the local partners of the broader Middle Eastern region to carry out the project support. The purpose of the subsection to center the public policy under the agreement described paragraph 1. The foundation may make a grant institution of a higher education located broader Middle East region and create a center of public policy. The purpose of the permitting scholar professional from the countries of the broader Middle East region from the other countries, including the United States, to carry out the research training program, other activities, inform public policy making broader Middle East region to promote the broader economical, social, political reform of the people of the broader Middle East region. 3. The application of the grant, and the entity seeking a grant of the foundation under this section shall submit an application head of the foundation at such a time in such a manner that certain information head of the foundation may responsibly require. D. The private charter of the foundation. Nothing in this section shall be constructed. A. 1. Making the foundation agency establishment of the United States government to make officers and employees foundation employees of the United States for the purpose of Title V United States Code. 2. Impose the restriction foundation acceptance of the private public source and support is an activity of consistent with the purpose specified in subsection A. Limitation of the payments of the foundation personnel. No part of the funds prevented the foundation under the section shall inherit the benefit of any officer or employee foundation except salary is reasonable compensation and service. 5. Retention of interest. The foundation may hold funds and provide it under section of interest-bearing accounts prior to reimbursement of such funds to carry purpose specified subsection A. May research of the purpose interest earned in the retaining such interest in the Treasury of the United States. The foundation may retain such funds endowment to carry out the purpose specified in subsection A. G. The financial accountability. 1. Independent private audits of the foundation. The account of the foundation shall be audited annually in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. Independently certified public accountants, independent licensed public accountants, certified licensed regulatory authority of the state or other political subdivision of the United States report. Independent auditors shall include the annual report required in subsection H. GAU audits. The financial transaction under the pursuant section of the foundation may be audited to government accountability with such principles, procedures under the rules and responsibility regulations as prescribed in the Comptroller of the United States. 3. The audits of grant receipts in general or receipt of the grant or foundation shall agree with the permit of the audit of the books, records, and such receipts related to the use of grants. B. The record keeping. The receipt should maintain an appropriate book and records to facilitate the audited record. Subparagraph A. 1. Separate accounts with respect to the grant of the funds. 2. Record fully disclose the use of grants. 3. Record describing total cost of performance carried out in the grant funds. 4. The amount of nature of any funds received under the surface of combined granted funds to carry out the project. H. Annual reports no later than 31st of 2008. Annual, therefore, after Foundation shall submit to the appropriate congressional committees to make available public a report that includes official year that report and submitted comprehensive detailed description of 1. Operation activities of the foundation that were carried out of the using of the funds prior under the section. 2. The grants of the foundation entities under the funds provided under the section. 3. Other activities further than pursue purpose specified in subsection A. 4. The financial condition of the foundation. 1. In the broader Middle East region defined in section term broader Middle East region, it means Afghanistan, Algeria, Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Libya, Morocco, Oman, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Tunisia, United Arab Emirates, Western Bank, Gaza, and Yemen. Repeal Section 534 K of Public Law 109 and 102 is repealed. Subtitle C, Reaffirming United States of Moral Leadership. Section 2031, Advancing United States Interest in the Public Diplomacy. 22 United States Code 6216. No. Finding the report of the National Commission of Terrorism Act of the United States stated in recognizing the Arab and Muslim audiences rely on satellite television radio government has become on some promising initiative television radio broadcasting Arab world, Iran, Afghanistan. The efforts began to reach large audiences. The Broadcasting Board of Governors had asked much larger resources. It should be good. Then 1. Be a sense of Congress in the sense of Congress that the United States needs to improve the communication, information, and ideas in foreign countries, particularly in the countries' significant Muslim populations. 2. Public diplomacy, reaffirming paramount commitment to the United States democratic principles, including preserving civil liberties of all the people of the United States, including the Muslim Americans. See the applicable special authority of storage capacity of the United States statute. States International Broadcasting Act of 1994, 22 United States Code 6201. It 10 sequence is amended and adding the following new section. 22 United States Code 6216 and Section 316 Special Authority of Surge Capacity. Emergency Authority 1. In general, when the President determines it to be important national interest in the United States, it certifies the appropriate congressional committees and the President to such terms as conditions. The President may determine and authorize to direct the Department, agency, or other entities, United States to furnish broadcasting of governors such as essence outside of the United States may be necessary to provide international broadcasting activities of the United States with surge capacities to support United States foreign policy objectives during the crisis abroad. And 2. Superseded existing laws. The authority of paragraph 1 superseded any provisional law. 2. 3. The surge capacity needed. Subsection term of surge capacity means financial technical resource necessary to carry out broadcasting activities in a geographical area during a crisis abroad. 4. Duration. The President authorized to exercise authority provided in subsection A period of 6 months with which may renewed for additional 6-month period. B. Authorization of appropriation in general. Be authorized to be appropriated President such sums necessary to President to carry out the section, except for no such amounts must be appropriated, which mean with added amounts previously appropriated for such purposes not obligated, which cause amounts of exceed $25 million. Availability of funds amounts appropriated pursuant available appropriation subsections areas of remainable available until expendable. These designation appropriations appropriated pursuant authorities appropriation in subsection referred to the United States and international broadcasting surge capacity. Report the annual report submitted to the President. Congress Broadcasting Board of Governors under Section 305A9 shall provide detailed description of any activities carried out over the section 22 United States Code 6201 or 22 United States Code 6204, note and deadline, Section 2032, oversight of international broadcasting, transcription of Persian or Arabic language broadcasting no later than 90 days after the enactment of this act. The Broadcasting Board of Governors should initiate the pilot project or transcript of the English language news and information broadcasting radio Sawa, and persuading services other than Voices of America and Al-Hara, random sampling, public availability, transcription required under subsection A shall consist of random sampling. Under such program, transcript shall be available Congress the public internet site of the board. See the report of report no later than May 1st, 2008. The chairman of the Broadcasting Board of Governors shall submit to the Committee of the Foreign Affairs of the House of Representatives, Committee of Foreign Relationships of the Senate, reported the feasibility of the continuing the pilot project required of the subsection A. Authorization appropriation authorized to appropriate international broadcasting operations accounting broadcasting governor. There's $2 million for fiscal year of 2008 to carry out the pilot project required under subsection A. 2030 Section 233, expansion of the United States scholarship exchange for library programs in predominantly Muslim countries. A. Reporting certification no later than 30 days after the date of enactment of every 180 days thereafter of December 31st, 2009, Secretary shall submit an appropriate congressional committee a report recommendation National Commission of Terrorists act upon the United States policy goals described in Action 7112 of Intelligent Reform Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004, Public Law 108-458, and expanding United States scholarship exchanging library programs of predominantly Muslim countries. Such reports include A. In certification Secretary of State. Such recommendations have been implemented to Secretary of State and is enabled to certification described in paragraph 1. Description of A. Steps of it taken in implementation recommendation and achieve policy goals. B. Secretary of State except for recommendations implemented such policy goals to achieve. C. And any allocation resource action in Congress, Secretary and State that considers necessary implementation recommendations to achieve policy goals. 2. B. The determination of duty to report, the duty to submit a report under subsection A shall determine. 8. The Secretary of State shall submit a certification pursuant to paragraph 1 in subsection. In such subsection. 2. Section 2034 United States policy toward debt and detainees. 42 United States Code 2000 ED. Note. A. Findings of congressional findings of the following. The National Commission of Terrorism acts upon the United States, commonly referred to as 9/11 Commission, and declared the United States should work for friends, develop and mutually agreed on principles of detention, human treatment, captured international terrorism who are bringing held, and particularly control criminal laws. Recommendation of the United States and engage its allies to develop a common coalition appropriate toward detention and humane treatment of captured terrorists. A number of investigation remain ongoing countries that are close to the United States allies in the war of terrorism regarding conducts of officials, employees, agents in the United States, other countries related to the conduct regarding detainees. 3. The Secretary shall have launched an initiative to try to address differences between the United States and many of its allies regarding treatment of detainees. Sense of Congress is that the Secretary acting the legal advisor Department of State should continue to build the Secretary efforts of engaging the United States allies to develop a common coalition approach to compliance with Common Article 3 of Geneva Conventions, other applicable legal principles toward detention, humane treatment, individual detained, Operation Iraq Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, in connection with the United States counterterrorism operation. Reporting Congress. 1. The briefing is Security shall keep the appropriate congressional committee fully informed progress in discussion with the United States and allied regarding the development of common coalition approach described subsection B. 2. The report no later than 100 days of the date of enactment. The Secretary shall consult with the Attorney General, Secretary of Defense, and shall submit appropriate congressional committee a report of any progress towards developing a common coalition approach described in subsection B. D. Definition of the section of the term appropriate congressional committees means with respect to the House of Representatives Committee of Foreign Affairs, Committee of Armed Services, Committee of Judiciary, and the Permanent Select Committee of the Intelligence. With 2. The respective Senate and the Committee of the Foreign Relationships, the Committee of Armed Services, Committee of Judiciary, Selecting Committee of the Intelligence. The Taliban and Al-Qaeda. Subtitle D. Strategy of the United States Relationship with Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. Section 42 United States Code 7511 note. Section 241 2041, Section 2041, Afghanistan. Congressional findings following a democratic stable proposal, Afghanistan is vital to the national security of the United States to combating international terrorism. Two following ousters of Taliban regime in 2001, government Afghanistan, with the assistance of the United States international community, achieved some notable success, including adoption, constitution, B, holding a presidential parliamentary provincial council elections, improving protection of human rights, including women's rights, and expanding educational opportunities. 3, following the factors pose a serious and immediate threat of stability of Afghanistan. Taliban and anti-government forces of Al-Qaeda and criminal networks for drug trafficking and corruption. C, weak institution administration, security, injustice, and institution administration, security, and justice, including perverse lack of rule of law, poverty, employment, lack of provisions of basic services. The United States and the international community must sufficiently increase political, economical, military support of Afghanistan to ensure the long-term stability, prosperity, to deny violent extremist groups such as Al-Qaeda sanctuary of Afghanistan. B, the statement of policy. The following shall be the policy of the United States. The United States shall vigorously support the people and the government of Afghanistan to continue to commit to the path toward that government representing protecting the rights of Afghanistan, should maintain a long-term commitment with the people of Afghanistan to increase the assistance with continued development of the United States troops in Afghanistan, as long as government Afghanistan supports the United States of involvement. 2, in order to reduce ability to Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and finance their operations, their opium trade, the president shall engage aggressively government of Afghanistan to countries and regions other influence to trade, transit, narcotics, as well as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization partners with the United States and consult with the Congress to assess success in current Afghanistan counter-narcotic strategy, explore additional options addressing narcotics crisis of Afghanistan, including possible changes in engagement in NATO and coalition participant actions against narcotics trafficking, kingpins, provisions of comprehensive assistance to farmers who rely on opium for their livelihood, including through the promotion of alternative crops of livelihood. The 3, the United States shall continue work and provide assistance to government of Afghanistan to strengthen local national government institutions, rule of law, including training judges and prosecutors and training equipment Afghanistan national security forces. 4, the United States shall continue the on-call NATO members participating in Operation Afghanistan to meet their commitment to provide all forces of equipment to life restriction on how such forces are deployed. The United States shall continue to foster greater understanding cooperation between governments in Afghanistan and Pakistan, taking the following actions. A, facilitating greater communication, including the official mechanisms such as tripartitism, common mission, joint intelligence operations center, and promoting other forms of exchanges between parliaments and civil societies in two countries. By B, urging government Afghanistan to enter political dialogue Pakistan with respect to issues all relating to between the two countries, within the aim of establishing mutual recognized and monitored border open to human economic exchange within both countries, fully responsible for both border security. C, statement of Congress. Congress strongly urges the Afghanistan Freedom Support Act of 2002, 22 United States Code 7501 intent sequence reauthorized, updated to take into account of new development in Afghanistan and regions, demonstrate to continue to support the United States for the people and the government of Afghanistan. Emergency, increase the effective police training and policing operations. 1, congressional findings. Police training programs. Afghanistan have been achieved a far less return of substantial investment to the data requirements of standing review, justification, means, or purpose of assistance consistent with the provisions of additional resources. 2, assistant authorization. President shall make an increased efforts of the urgent basis to aid dramatically improve capability effectiveness of the United States international policy trainers, government mentors, policy personnel for the policy training programs in Afghanistan, as well as developing training, screening, and program. B, the increase the numbers of such trainers, mentors, personnel, and increase determined improved performance capabilities of Afghanistan civil security security forces. Sorry. And C, the assistant government of Afghanistan, in conjunction with Afghanistan civil security forces, their leadership in addressing cooperation with crises that threaten and undermine Afghanistan's future. 3. The report, no later than 100 days after the date of enactment of every 6 months thereafter until September 30th, 2010, the President shall transmit appropriate and congressional committees a report in the United States to efforts to fulfill the requirements of subsection the required report required for the paragraph transmitted concurrently with the supremely reported Afghanistan's Freedom Support Act of 2002, 22 United States Code 2375, United States Code 2042, Pakistan. Congressional findings following: 1. The Democrat stability prosperous Pakistan, that fully reliable partner in struggle against the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and other terrorist groups, and resemble a steward of nuclear weapons of technology, is vital for the national security of the United States. 2. Since September 11, 2011, the government of Pakistan has been critically allied and important in removing the Taliban regime of Afghanistan and combating Al-Qaeda. 3. The Pakistan had been made sacrifices in shared struggle against Al-Qaeda, affiliated terrorist group, engaging in military operations that have been led to deaths of hundreds of Pakistani security personnel, enduring the acts of freedoms that have killed hundreds of Pakistani civilians. 4. Publicly stated goals, government of Pakistan and national interests of the United States are in close agreement with many areas, including curbing the proliferation of nuclear weapon technology. To be combating poverty and corruption. C. Enabling effective government institutions, including public education. D. Promoting democracy, rule of law, particularly national level. E. Addressing continued presence in Taliban, other relevant extremist forces through other countries. F. Maintaining authority government in Pakistan in all parts of the national territory. G. The Secretary securing borders of Pakistan to prevent movement of militants and terrorists into other countries and territories. H. Effectively dealing with violent extremism. 5. The opportunity exists in shared effort of helping achieve a correlative goals of government of Pakistan, particularly A. Increasing the United States' existence of Pakistan, appropriate with achieve progress, meeting the goals in subparagraph A and through C, and paragraph 4. B. The increased commitment of the government of Pakistan to achieve the goals of paragraph 4D, particularly given and continued certain in conduct for previous elections regarding parliamentary elections scheduled in 2007 will free, fair, and inclusive, and all political parties carried in full accordance with international recognized democratic norms, and increase the commitment on the part of government of Pakistan to take action described paragraph 4E, particularly given 1. In conducted operational Taliban Quetta Shura and is noted by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization as Supreme Allied Commander General James Jones in testimony Senate Foreign Relations Committee September 21st, 2006. 2. The continued operation of Al-Qaeda affiliates Lakshya Taiba, Jasir Muhammad, sometimes under different names. Demonstration lack meaningful action taken under Hasfit Muhammad succeeded Maulana Masad Mazar and other known leaders and members of such terrorist organization, and indeed increased commitment on the part of the government of the United States in regard to working all elements of Pakistan society and helping to achieve all correlative goals described in subparagraph A. The new H of the paragraph 4 statement of policy. The following shall be the following policy in the United States: to maintain, to deepen the friendship and long-term or strategic relationship with Pakistan, to work with the government of Pakistan to combat international terrorism, especially with the frontier provisions of the Pakistan in the use of the Pakistan safe haven terrorist group, including the associated Al-Qaeda and Taliban, to support the robust building of the programs of the United States and the Agency of International Development and Department of State assisting with the government of Pakistan, working with it toward the goals in described subsection A4, and the government of Pakistan demonstrates a clear commitment in the building of the modern democratic state. 4. To work with the international community to secure additional financial political support to effectively implementation of the policy of C set forth subsection. 5. To facilitate the resolution dispute over the territory of Kashmir and extent of the facilitation, invited welcome the governments of Pakistan and India and people in Kashmir. Six, to facilitate communication and cooperation between government of Afghanistan and Pakistan for the improvement of bilateral relations, cooperation combating terrorism in both countries, to work with the government of Pakistan to dismantle and execute proliferation networks preventing proliferation of nuclear technology. C, strategy relating to Pakistan. Requirement for the report of the strategy no later than 90 days after the date of enactment of this president should transmit appropriate congressional committees a report of described long-term strategy of the United States and engage the government of Pakistan to achieve the goals described in subparagraphs A through H and subsection A4, and to carry policy described in subsection B. The form of report required of the paragraph 1 shall be transmitted unclassified form, maybe including classified annex and necessary. D, the limitation of the United States Secretary Assistance Pakistan Loan Limitation Fiscal Year 2008 United States Assistance under the Chapter 2, Paragraph 2 of the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961, 22 United States Code 23.111 Extent Sequence, Section 23 of the Arms Export Control 22 United States Code 2763 may not provide and a license for item controlled by Army Export Control Act of 22 United States Code 2751 Extent Sequence may not be approved for Pakistan until the President transmits appropriate congressional committees of report contained determine the nation that the President of the government of Pakistan is committing eliminating Pakistani territories and organizations such as the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, or any other successor engaged in military insurgent terrorist activities in Afghanistan. B, the undertaking comprehensive military, legal, economical, political campaign to achieve the goal of described subparagraph A. C, the currently making demonstrated significant sustained progress toward the eliminating support and safe haven for terrorism. Memorandum justification. The President shall include the report required in paragraph 1 memorandum justification setting forth the basis of paragraph determination under paragraph 1. Form the report required for the paragraph 1 and memorandum justification required of the paragraph 2 shall be transmitted unclassified, may be included classified annex and necessary. Nuclear proliferation. 1. Congressional findings that the maintenance any country procurement or other supplemental supply network of the illicit proliferation of nuclear missile technology would inconsistent with any country being considered an ally of the United States. Since the Congress that the national security interests of the United States will be served, the United States develops, implements a long-term strategy, improve the United States relationship with the Pakistan, works with the government of Pakistan to stop nuclear proliferation. F, the authorization appropriation authorized to appropriate the President in such same sums may be necessary to provide assistance described subsection D1 Pakistani official in 2008 in accordance with the requirements subsection D1. Other findings amounts authorized to appropriate under the subsection A are additional amounts otherwise available for the purpose declaration Congress declaration from the amounts of funding appropriated persistent authorization or appropriation from under the paragraph for subsequent fiscal years shall be determined the extent of the government Pakistan displays of demonstrable progress in prevention of Al-Qaeda and any other terrorist organization operating in the territory of Pakistan, including eliminating terrorist training camps and facilities, arresting members and leaders of terrorist organization, countering recruitment efforts, preventing Taliban from the use of territory Pakistan sanctuary from the launch attacks within Afghanistan, including arresting Taliban leaders, stopping cross-border insurgency, counter-recruitment efforts. C, implementing democratic reforms, including allowing free, fair, inclusive elections on all levels of all government, including international recognized democratic norms, respective intermediates of in judiciary. 121 Stat 524 and Public Law 11053, August 3rd, 2007. 4. Biannual reports to Congress. General Secretary of State shall submit in appropriate congressional committees a biannual report describing detailed extent into which the government of Pakistan has displayed demonstrated progress meeting of the goals described in subparagraph A through C in paragraph 3. B, schedule for submission of the report required from subparagraph A is submitted no later than April 15th, October 15th, and each year of the October 15th, 2009. The report required of subparagraph A shall submitted in an unclassified form be included in unclassified annexes if necessary. G, the extension waivers. A1 amendments. The active entitled an active authorizing the President to exercise waivers of foreign assistance restrictions within Pakistan throughout the September 3rd, 2003 for the other proposed October 27, 2001 Public Law 17-57 115 Stat 403 amended A in Section 1B and 1 in the heading as following official years of 2007 and 2008. 2 in the Paragraph 1 by striking any provision of the following through the prohibits and inserting any provision making appropriate foreign appropriation exporting financial related programs reported appropriations for the 2000-2008 and any other appropriation acts of the prohibits. B in section 3.2 striking such provisions all following through or as are or inserting such provisions act make appropriations of foreign operations exporting financing related program appropriation for the years 2000 through 2008 any appropriation acts and are C and in section striking C and in Section 6 by striking provision of all following inserting provisions of the Act shall terminate October 1st, 28. Effective date of the amendments of Paragraph 1 taking effect of October 1st, 2006. The sense of Congress and sense of Congress the termination provide extension waivers of foreign assistance prohibition of within respect to pursuant Public Law 107 official years specifically amendments made in the Paragraph 1 and Public Law 107-57 shall be informed demonstrated progress achieved and goals described in subparagraph A through C of subsection F3. 22 United States Code 26566 2656 note. Section 20043 Saudi Arabia Congressional findings that the National Commission of Terrorism acted upon the United States conclude Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has been problematic in combating Islamic extremism as level of higher policy. Saudi Arabia's leaders cooperated with American diplomatic initiatives aimed at Taliban and Pakistan before 9/11. At the same time, Saudi Arabia's society was a place where Al Qaeda raised money directly, individual and through charities, and it was society produced 15 of 19 hijackers. Saudi Arabia has an uneven record of the fight against the terrorism, especially respect of terrorist financing, support of radical madarasas, lack of political outlooks of citizen restriction of religious pluralism, possesses a threat of security of the United States possesses a threat to security of the United States international communication. Saudi Arabia itself, a national commission terrorism upon the United States conclude with the problem U.S. Saudi Arabia. The problems in U.S. and Saudi relationship must be confronted openly. It recommended that two countries build a relationship including shared commitment, political, economic reform, shared interests, intertolerance, cultural respect, or translating commitment to fight violent extremists who fomented hatred. For the United States and national security interests working with the government of Saudi Arabia to combat international terrorists that operate within the country, that operate the Saudi Arabia with the support of citizens of Saudi Arabia. The United States and Saudi Arabia established strategic dialogue in 2005, which provided framework for the two countries to discuss range of bilateral issues at the highest levels, including counterterrorism policy, political, economical reform. 6. The United States national security interests in the United States of the government of Saudi Arabia undertaking a number of political and economical forms regarding increased anti-terrorism operational conducting law by law enforcement agencies providing them political religious rights to the citizen, increasing rights of the women's, engaging comprehensive educational reform, enhancing monitoring charitable organizations and promulgating enforcing domestic law regulations and terrorism findings. Be a statement of policy. In the policy of the United States and 1. Engage the government in Saudi Arabia openly confronting the issue of terrorism as well as problematic issues such as lack of political freedoms. 2. The enhancement of counterterrorism cooperation with the government of Saudi Arabia. 3. The support of government of Saudi Arabia to make political, economical, social reforms, including greater religious freedom and throughout the country. C. The progress of counterterrorism, the cooperation. 1. The report. Not later than 100 days after the date of the enactment, the President shall transmit appropriate congressional committees a report. The A describes long-term strategy in the United States. 2. 1. Engage the government of Saudi Arabia and facilitate political and economic social reforms and greater religious freedoms and will enhance the ability of the government of Saudi Arabia to commit international terrorism. to combat international terrorism. To work in the government of Saudi Arabia to combat terrorism, including through effective measurement to prevent prohibited and financial terrorists by Saudi institutions and citizens. B. Provide assessment progress made in Saudi Arabia since 2001. Materials described in subparagraph A, and whether the Saudi Arabia has become a party to the International Convention of Suppression of the Financing of Terrorism. Act 2, activities authorized in Saudi and non-governmental National Commission of the Relief of Charity Work Abroad. 2, form a reform report required to the paragraphs 1 shall be transmitted unclassified but may be classified and annexed if necessary. Sections 21, advising democratic values.